Hello, Michelle. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Myself and Steve Evans here with me.
Hello,
Hi, Michelle. Good to meet you. So, yes, I detect those Scouse dialect tones there.
Yeah.
But, I've got to ask you, on your Twitter account, you have a Welsh and an English flag. So whereabouts are you? I'm a little confused.
Let me show
Minded
you.
body. Sorry, go on.
Let me show you where I am. If I can spin this around.
I'll spit it around.
Oh, it's not going to let me. There you are. Can you see that?
Oh, Wales, it looks like.
Oh.
Yeah,
Those
I'm on a
mountains.
mountain in Wales.
Nice
I live
one.
on a mountain in Wales. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So that's where I am. I've lived here for. I've lived in Wales for. Where'd that go? 22 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Big country. So whereabouts in Wales? North Wales?
South, just south of the Brecons are. I'm just at the
Brecon
base of the
Beacons, yeah. Yeah.
I reckon
Well,
half
50-50
Scousers.
guess.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm saying 50-50 guess, and I got it wrong, Terry. Anyway.
Yeah. Not far off at all.
Well, half the Scousers, people from Liverpool, half Welsh and half Irish, aren't we, really? But a mixture.
Yeah. Well, my great granddad on my father's side, so that was like go way back, was Griffiths. You don't get much more Welsh than that.
Yeah, definitely.
So all my family are down here, which is why I moved down here when I got divorced.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So there's also a link on your Twitter to Oxford University. Is that something completely different, or is that something from earlier on in life?
No, that's from 2020. I did a short writing course at Oxford. Yeah. So at Hilary House, which is the online portal. So yeah. So I'm very proud of that. But more recently, I've done the science of nuclear energy with the Open University. So I've got to give them a bit of a shout out, haven't I?
Oh yeah, that's a bit heavy, isn't it?
It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I was completely blown away. I don't know if any of your watchers have read anything by James Lovelock. Yeah. Dr. James Lovelock is absolutely amazing. And funnily enough, while I was reading his book, Revenge of Gaia, he passed over. So it was kind of like, oh my goodness, my inspiration there passed on and it was on his 103rd birthday.
Wow.
And in 1985, he had nuclear waste put in his back garden to prove how safe it was. Yeah. So it's well worth looking into. And James Lovelock, absolutely one of the most amazing nuclear scientists. He's up there with the top ones.
Have you got a science background, Michelle?
No.
No. Whoa. I can't get my head around that. Seems too heavy. That just to sort of go off and study that.
I'm eclectic like that. Something interests me and then I want to learn more. So I'll, and it was The Revenge of Gaia was the book that I was interested in, and I read it. So then I wanted to know all about nuclear energy and what the environmental impacts, because the environmental concerns are a big issue to me because I'm pagan. So so James Lovelock completely opens my eyes to a whole new world.
Michelle, can I just mention something as well? You sound exactly like my sister, same name, Michelle.
You're right.
Yeah, honestly.
You're not from Cantrell Farm by any chance, are you?
She lived there when she got married from Canny Farm.
Oh my word!
The Atkinsons. Yeah.
Small world, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And I've totally forgot what I was going to ask you now. But you mentioned that you're a pagan. You're wearing religious symbols. Is that sort of an anti, like a?
No, I am the High Priestess of the Aurora Chandra Coven.
What? Whoa!
I am the High Priestess of the Aurora Chandra Coven, and I have a dual faith.
Yeah.
So the cross is, if I can get this up to the camera. So my dad's order, which was the Order of the Rosy Cross.
Yeah.
It's also got the Star of David and the pentagram engraved into the cross itself. Because with pagans, we develop our own belief systems based on what we feel comfortable with believing. I don't tell my congregation, as you probably call them, what to believe. We discuss ideologies and theologies, and we take from each what we feel comfortable with believing. You can't tell somebody what to believe. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I went to a Catholic school, and I was sort of fed daily. You must go to church every single day. And my grandmother, she used to moan at me for an hour or so if I hadn't been to church on any given Sunday. But I sort of disagreed with that. I think children should be allowed to have their own opinions, let them develop that themselves rather than get it rammed down the throat.
Yeah, well, what my mum did with me, because she was a pagan high priestess before me, was she shoved me into Catholicism. She told me to go online Catholicism, to learn, study with the Jehovah's Witnesses, and to study all different ideologies and theologies and religions. Again, and it's a very pagan way. We take from each what we feel comfortable with believing. So, I looked into Buddhism, Judaism. I've studied, and I've got a good working knowledge of the Bible as well. So, studied right across the board where religion is concerned. And I just say to members of the Coven, I'm not going to tell you what to believe. We're here to discuss what we believe on any given topic. And then we have a book of shadows, something we call a book of shadows, and we write down our pagan journey in that book of shadows, and in a way then we're writing our own Bible, if you know what I mean. So it's and every book of shadows is different, because every witch, pagan, whatever, has their own belief system, not one that's indoctrinated upon them.
I mean, wife, we were talking about witches. And the way in the Middle Ages, there was a thing called, was it paddling, I think it was called, or boarding, where they put the witch on a sort of seesaw, the supposed alleged witch. And if she didn't drown, she was a witch. But if she drowned, she wasn't a witch.
No.
No?
No, it's dunking.
Dunking, that's the word I'm looking for.
Dunking,
yeah. Matthew Hopkins and his ilk, he went on there. And they did many things. One of the ones was they used to put hot knives underneath fingernails to get people to confess, and there was lots of evil things went on, and unfortunately whether you term them witches, they were wise women. They were the women who helped other women give birth. They were the women who mixed the herbs for herbalists and whatnot, and they were the women that Matthew Hopkins killed off. And with them died, a lot of very good advice that we could probably find useful today.
Yeah.
So I was just going to move on a bit, go on to talking about your book and things like that. But before we do that, you've got a couple of stories on your Inkit site.
Yes.
Now, before I go on about the stories that are on there, please forgive my ignorance. What is an Inkit site? I have no idea.
It's Findy writers, to publish their work. They class themselves as a publisher. And they do have full publishing service, but it's a way of getting your name out there. Inkit,
right?
Okay. And they have a big following.
Right, I understand. I understand a bit more now. Yeah, so on that Inkit site, you've got 28 chapters, is it, of demonic tales and the Fallen, the Malachi. Do you use them? Is that how you pronounce it? Have I got it wrong? Yeah.
Malachi, I love it.
So Do you use those to encourage people to give you reviews or comments as a sort of beta reader or anything like that?
No, they were just stories that, you know, I put up there to basically see how they do, and then I kind of, and it was 2017 when I was first getting involved with Twitter, and you know, it was just some little short stories that were, you know, I like paranormal, obviously, you know, being a pagan, I do like paranormal things, but also angels and demons. You know, that's something that really does interest me, is the Christian idea of heaven and hell and good and evil, angels and demons. So Malachi was what happened was, in 2015 I wrote a short story called Date and Devil. It's now a full book, and I'm going to try and get it published.
Okay.
And it's been my baby because it's actually five. It's a series of 5 books, and Malachi was just maybe a little rub off of that, you know, just you know, a little to see what the market was like.
Yeah.
So the stories that are on there, 2 of them, Mama Gina, and The Fallen. I was basically just trying to test the market, see which did better.
Okay.
And Fallen went off like a rocket, and Mama Gina never. So I decided that, you know, to at that point carry on, and because I'd just written Date and the Devil as a short story, and then I thought, you know what, I want to expand this, and I went on and I wrote it's a 5-book series, which I'm going to, when I put them there up, try and get published.
You're going for a traditional publisher, to that heartache and the pain and the frustration of all that.
Yeah, this is my baby.
Okay.
This is, and I've spent the last 5 years at least studying my art to make sure that, and studying the market as well. So it's not just being the writing, because obviously when Date and Devil was, the short story was written, and Malachi was written, they're basically raw files. You know, my writing wasn't brilliant. You know, and I've studied, if you look at my Goodreads site, you'll see, like, on there is just loads of books about how to write. And
have you read the Stephen King book on writing? A lot of other writers say that is like a sort of Bible, if you like, for
I haven't read that.
writers.
No. Enough, I do.
Definitely worth a read.
Yeah, I'll have a go with that. Yeah. But,
also, have you read Dan Brown books of Angels and Demons? You know, talking about the.
Yes, of course I have. Yeah, I like. It's obviously it's a little bit different to the paranormal. Of
course,
it's not
mainstream, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but more with Dan Brown. The thing I laughed at, because I've got a crime series on the go as well. Is that I do study really hard, and also on my Goodreads list there are lots of books on police procedure. Because I've been doing a crime series, and I read Dan Brown, totally engrossed, you know, believed every word he said, and then read police procedure in the UK and in Europe, and then went back and read Dan Brown, and I was like, he didn't do his homework. But don't get me wrong, it's not a criticism. Dan Brown is amazing, and the books are amazing. And you know what, if you're not a police officer, let me tell you, those books are so engrossing, I couldn't put them down. You know, I totally love Dan Brown. I think my favourite Dan Brown one was actually one of the later ones, but Inferno was my favourite.
Oh,
Dan
yeah.
Brown.
What do you like the
read
film?
that?
Yeah, I read all of them.
Amazing. It was one of those. I picked it up on Friday. I finished work at 2 o'clock on Friday. I picked it up on Friday and I did not put it down. I just sat on the sofa with the dog and that was it. Could not put it down. It was brilliant.
What do you think of the film versions?
I always prefer a book, and I've got a TV there that's like 3-4 years old and it's hardly ever seen light of day. But one of the writers that I don't know whether you've heard of her, Diana Gabaldon.
No, it doesn't ring a bell. No.
Oh, she wrote Cross Stitch and she wrote the Outlander series. Oh, let me tell you, her style of writing, I could just jump into her book. And I was there, and she's been a massive inspiration to me. She really has, because the way she writes, it's not in the first person, but it may as well be, and that's what I've tried to emulate. Obviously not her style of writing, my own style, but having that where the reader doesn't detach from the character, so that the reader is right there with the character. So and I've had some fantastic help with an editor called Nikki Richards, and she's been absolutely fantastic. So so now I've got my own style. As I said, I spent a long time researching, long after Graystings more so. Graystings is even though it's well edited, it's from before, because I've now got 2 books written and I've found my voice. I've found my style, and it's taken me a long time to get there. As I said, I wrote Dating the Devil in 2015. It's now a 100,000 word book.
Oh, it's heavy.
Yeah.
Decent size.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. But it's taken me like 3 years to, 5 years to develop my style, to find my voice and put my voice into that. But it's always been my baby. As I said, it was a short story originally, and so many people loved the short story. Like with Malachi, of the Fallen, a lot of people read that, a lot of people enjoyed it. I think people love the idea of angels and demons.
Tell us a little bit about Graystings, the book. It's a paranormal story. Is it a standalone book or part of a series? But give us a little bit of info about the book without giving anything away. It's
supposed to be a series. It's supposed to be.
Right.
And the second book is written in the point of view of her daughter. So, so obviously
Caitlin, is it?
Yeah, Caitlin. Yeah, so Caitlin, and I went to Romania, and I had a
Transylvania.
Yeah, oh, it's amazing, absolutely amazing. I went there do you remember the Beast from the East? A few years ago, the winter that we had where I was in Romania where it originated, when it all kicked off.
Yeah.
It was -20 when I came out from Brancastle.
Oh.
And I walked down, literally, my Brancastle's cold anyway in the winter. I walked down to the bus stop. I ended up, my legs were literally numb from the knee down. And went into a cafe. I thawed out, and then I had to go and stand at the bus stop and wait for the bus. Thankfully, the bus stop at Castlebran has got its own little cafe, so I could go in there as well. But let me tell you, but yeah, it was nice to be able to visit Castlebran, and get a feel for Romania that I wouldn't have had without a visit to the place.
Is Graystings, is that a fictional name for that castle, or is that a particular? Is it a real place?
Yeah, it's a fictional name. Yeah.
Where did you go? Did that just come into your head? No other reason.
Yeah, no. There was literally no reason. It was just, and the story wasn't even called Graystings at the beginning. I can't even. It has a working title, and Graystings was just the name of the castle that all this took off in, like. And then when I'd finished it and I'd put the end, I was like, no, it's got to be called Graystings. Little funny story, you can see at the very back there the mountain that towers above Pitlochry, and the front is Lancaster Assizes, and I took that photograph.
Okay. On the first page of Graystings, Elsie, she gets this job interview offer from a company called Drakini. And that sends alarm bells to me. I think, yep, oh, there's a vampire. Draki. There's any Drakis involved?
Dracinis, yeah, it is. But they've been watching her for a while.
Yeah.
And have you read the whole of Graystings?
I've just read the sample part, about the first 15 pages, something like that.
Yeah. So you've met Radu then?
Yeah.
Well, he's been watching her for a long time.
Oh, okay.
And he's been waiting for his opportunity to make a move.
Yeah.
And that interview was him making his first move, but he couldn't do it, you know.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it, obviously. So, you know, and suddenly she goes from, like, you know, her world collapsing to finding herself in a world of myths.
Okay.
Which is a big shock for her.
I'm looking forward to finishing the read off. I think it's an excellent start, what I've read so far.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Michelle, maybe a couple of final questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just ask one, and then maybe Steve. I'll pass it on to Steve.
Yeah.
What's your writing routine? Have you got a set time? I know you said you finish work early on a Friday. Do you say, right, I'm going to write between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock at night, or it's just whenever you feel inspired? I
try to get 3,000 words done a week.
A week? That's a hard target, that.
Because I work full time.
Yeah.
So my evenings are sacrosanct to feel, you know, and because I'm a high priestess as well, I've got other responsibilities. So yeah, I try, but now if I with winter coming in, I'm hoping that I can up that to maybe 5,000 words a week. Now. It's easier now that I've found my voice, now that I've found
more confident,
developed my style. I can now write in that voice. I can now write that style. Whereas before, I literally had to go back and edit everything because it wasn't. Whereas now it flows. Now with what the work that I've put in over the past 5 years, it's definitely up there.
Okay. So, if I came to you now as a brand new writer and I was looking to write a book, what would your advice be to me as an aspiring writer? Which way would you advise me to go, and what to do, and the best way to do it?
Get on a course, first of all, because and there's lots of free courses out there. The university does a free writing course. Because it just helps, because straight away you're talking with other people who are in exactly the same boat as you are, and that's what happened to me at Oxford. I didn't know, you know, I started with my voice and my writing style, but going to Oxford and being able to discuss this with people who are exactly the same level as me, that just made all the difference in the world. And don't be afraid to ask for help, and don't ever give up. If you believe in something, don't ever give up. If you have to rewrite that 1,000 times, if you know that in your heart that story is a good one, don't let it down.
Yeah, common theme. We hear that a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
actually
yeah.
don't give up, don't we, Terry? Yeah,
we do,
over
yeah.
100 plus
Yeah.
people we've spoken to, or authors we've spoken to, a lot of them do say don't give up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
excellent advice. Michelle, it's as I say, it's the time's flown. It's been absolutely
Certainly
brilliant
has.
chatting with you.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really very honoured, and it's always great to talk to people who, from back home, because I don't get there very often these days.
No, that was definitely a bonus for me and Steve as well, hearing that.
Yeah, definitely.
But for now, Michelle, let's keep in touch as we have been doing on Twitter.
Absolutely, yeah,
I'll send,
totally.